We're live.
Okay.
All right. Yes, quite. We had a little longer delay this time. Hey guys, my name is Nina Means. I'm the director for ACC Fashion Incubator. We are here for ACCFI Presents, and I am with our guest today, Samuel Alexander. He is the creator and CEO of Concept to Consumption, which is an incredible technology company for fashion and apparel, and has really just solved so many issues regarding the product life cycle and really helping brands and businesses go to market more efficiently. So, Sam, we are so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us for ACCFI Presents today.
Well, thanks for having me back, Nina. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, we really wanted to make sure to have Sam back because, we had a wonderful conversation the last time regarding the Women's Wear Daily article where you were featured back in June. And actually, it was, I believe it was earlier. It was
The
early May or
pandemic, yeah,
yeah, exactly. It was the very
right,
beginning of the pandemic. So,
right.
we had the opportunity to talk with Sam regarding his contributions to that article. But since then, Sam has done so many things and has done many things prior to. So wanted to jump back into that conversation. Whenever we were talking before, we were kind of checking in to see how things are going now. A lot more kind of in this digital space. What are some of the things that you're working on, currently, before we kind of jump back into that article?
I was gonna say before we jump in back to the podcast, uh,
Hmm.
the interesting thing about that podcast was that when Women's Wear asked me to do it, they said it would be 100 to 150 C-level executives from the fashion industry that were going to be on that podcast. And then when they sent me the registration for the podcast, there was right at 1,000 C-level
Wow.
people, different executives. And I was shocked at some of the people that were on there from the technology industry, also like Google, Facebook, and Amazon. So it
Oh, wow.
basically
Yes,
gave us a whole spectrum of industries that we were dealing with. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that's I kind of wanted to bring that in because I thought that was very interesting
absolutely.
as to who was on there as far as and
Mhm.
what's going on now is people are really looking for information on how to evolve their companies into this new digital world that
Absolutely. And I think that that's key, right? We really want to, look at how this is transforming our world. And whenever you have, Google, Amazon, Facebook, joining in on a Women's Wear Daily, podcast, you realize that, everyone's seeing opportunity in apparel and fashion and how it intersects with these spaces, and how they're contributing to the shopping experience and other things, right?
well,
So,
I'm sorry, and right now
no, go for
what
it.
we're dealing with is we're moving away from siloed industries. There are no silos in industry, and one of the key words or key terms that we've developed and we use in our marketing and also in getting people to understand what is evolving is we call everything IoT, Internet of Things,
Okay.
and that's the new philosophy that we're working on versus siloed being a fashion industry, being a technology industry, because there's
Hmm.
a convergence of all industries into IoT. Everything is going to be connected, whether it be Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or to your, it's going to be connected.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. And I think that that intersection is really key. I know that before we were talking about, STEM now adding in the arts, it now being STEAM.
And
Can you talk a little bit about how you see that evolving and, why that's been needed?
well, one of the things I want to start off is complimenting ACC on what they've developed as a STEAM example and the amount of people that are coming in from all over the country just to see what you guys have developed there. And, obviously we're all in a building process, but you're on the leading edge of that building process right now. And the
Thank you.
opportunities that we have to collaborate with also the other universities in helping them to get their certification with within the technologies that you have there is going to be an opportunity for us to grow an industry here in Central Texas that will
Hmm.
surpass the rest of the country and also the rest of the world because we are number one, a city that is known for technology, and now we can become a city that's known for fashion and technology.
Absolutely. I think that one of the things that we're seeing is such a huge change. We are, on the building edge, of our program, and really kind of in that space of still cultivating, the market. But what I'm so excited about is seeing the evolution of what can be in fashion. Now, when I've talked with you before, I feel like when I talk with you, you have such a clear vision about what fashion and technology will look like. Can you kind of tell us more about what you see, and share with us, what that could look like for, the industry?
Well, as far as what we talked about earlier, I don't know if you want me to go over that conversation that we had earlier with.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Jump right
and
in.
this
Go
is
for it.
this is how we kind of start out with our presentation. The problem with the fashion industry is that the fashion industry doesn't understand technology, and the technology industry doesn't understand fashion. And the fashion industry right now is undergoing large scale changes as a direct results of the rise in technology and the impact on the consumer's behavior with the digital transformation that is creating an uncertain and complex consumer environment. So what is happening now is the environment that we traditionally were used to doing business in is completely changed. Our
Hmm.
philosophy is to create smart factories, smart networks, and smart products. And what we're looking at is a convergence between the physical and the digital world. And so that's going to be a complete interactive environment. And that's what we're going to see a change in for branding, marketing, and product development.
Hmm.
And you'll see companies that will tailor their products to the consumer demand versus trend demand.
Right. So that consumer demand, creating products towards that, what do you see? I know that your company does a lot in terms of product and brand development. How do you see brands interacting with this consumer based demand instead of saying, hey, this is all of our offering, come shop,
One of the biggest areas that we see, the two growth areas in the marketing trends that we have to develop products for, is safety and comfort. Safety
Safety and comfort. Yeah.
would become the priorities for developing products for the next generation. The other things is ageless, timeless, and then seasonless. And then we also with the IoT have to make it utilitarian. And then we got to base everything on sustainability, and which is basically evolved in the circular economy. And then a lot of the products will become genderless because there's really no need for gender in a lot of the fashion that we'll be utilizing going forward. So you'll have dual genders in pretty much all the products going forward
Wow.
of where our lifestyles are.
That is so interesting. I think but I see exactly like when you say it out loud, I can see that kind of as we're evolving, things that we're wearing, outerwear pieces. I mean, there's really it does cease to kind of need a specific, gender assigned to it, for some of the, some of it's just style. There's, pieces that people like and they want to wear or their comfort or their utility, and there's not really a need to differentiate necessarily.
No, it's like a
Um,
polo shirt. Do you need a men's polo and a women's polo, or is it all about the fit of the polo? It's a genderless product, and that's where
mhm.
we're focused in on now. And the other side is you have to laugh about. The most important part of anybody's wardrobe now is their top because nobody sees the bottoms anymore because we're all
True.
doing Zoom and WebEx calls. So
Right, right. No, it's true. It's definitely about that. What do they call it? Above the keyboard dressing.
right,
Yeah. So no, I definitely I hear what you're saying loud and clear. I think I'm curious to see how brands develop their assortment now, and what they're providing, in terms of like how many tops are in the collection and how many, like and what kinds of tops are they looking at
right.
and what kinds of materials are they looking at, the sustainability piece, the circular economy piece, the consumer demand piece. I think that there's so much for brands to really digest, kind of in this space.
The
Do
biggest
you?
the biggest issue that they're going to have to deal with is dealing with our new society and what will that be? Because
Mm,
right now the society that we know is over with. With this virus that's in play, it's created a brand new society, and it's created a Zoom society or a WebEx society. Those societies are the new worlds that we function in now. So, what will fashion play in those worlds? Obviously, we talked about this earlier. Also, is the mask. The mask has become the most fashionable item in the fashion industry right now. And
I
what
would agree.
and most of the factories that are here in the U.S. right now they're producing PPE. They've made an adjustment to be able to create products for the demand in the market. And as you can see already, the different varieties of masks and all the creative aspects that are coming out in the mask, it's kind of funny to watch it as it evolves. As
It
fashion
really
statement.
is. I've been seeing, I follow a lot of different people on Instagram. They're in London, they're in Germany, they're, in the States, they're, in a variety of different locations. And I've seen some really beautiful adaptations of these face coverings, where I'm like, oh, that actually looks like something that you would want to wear, or it goes with a lot of your outfits, or you're hoping at some point that this will be like, you're going out more and you'll need them more. Before it was very purely utilitarian, but now it's utilitarian meets comfort meets style.
Style, yeah.
So yeah, so you want a little something extra, if you've got to wear it all the time. So tell me, Sam, like, I know that you've been doing these various podcasts and articles. I really do want to kind of go back to some of the content from the podcast. I know that Women's Wear put that on and brought together a lot of people. What were some of the, like, I don't know, did they give an opportunity to like ask you questions or anything like that, or was it primarily just
It- we
presenting?
we had a moderator, and the moderator asked questions.
Okay.
And the one lady that was on was the director of women's wear for Italy, so she was able to give a presentation on what was going on in Milan. As
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows, Milan is fashion capital of the world, and
Mm-hmm.
so she gave us a complete picture on what was going on in Milan. And we talked about what was going on here in the U.S. and the changes that
Mm-hmm.
were. And the thing that we all have to look at is, what is society going to be going forward? And when you see companies like Neiman Marcus filing bankruptcy, and some of the major department stores that we have are going out, then where or how are we going to do business, and who we're going to do business with? And what we see happening is that we've moved from a passive world where you go in and thumb through racks of clothing to a complete digital interactive world. And that's where our
Mm-hmm.
focus is going forward. We've also moved away from mass production of products to more of an on demand or just in time products. And
Right.
and so one of the things that what we're doing now is we are focusing on reshoring our factories to the US and doing direct shipments from our factories outside of the US. So we're partnered with like companies like DHL, and they're creating new programs for us as far as being able to get the product from the factory to the consumer. And so there's not all of the overabundance of products that we are putting in landfills going forward. So a lot
That's
of the
excellent.
fast fashion and products and those type of things will go away just because of the lifestyle that we're all leading right now. Where are you going to go to show off your new hot fashion item when you can't go to a restaurant, bar, or club, or any event? So that's why when I talked earlier about the different qualities of life of products that we're looking at developing right now, we've got it down to a science as far as the comfort and the safety part of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate that so much, because I think that a lot of times, like, what you continually hear kind of even in your last comment is just lifestyle, 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 and the evolution of what's come kind of in such a rapid space. Like, I think all of this kind of took everyone by surprise,
But
how rapidly, things have changed.
the biggest issue that we'll see in the change of the society is that we're moving from a quantity of life to a quality of life. I think
Mm,
that if anything we've gotten out of this virus positive is that people now, I go outside in my neighborhood and ride my bike in the evening, and you can't hardly go up and down the streets because there's so many people out there walking, and their family, they've got whole families out there. So I'm seeing us gain a quality of life back from this virus. And also now you got to think about all the people that were going in back and forth to offices and driving an hour and a half each day. Now the companies are telling them they're much more effective at home because they're actually getting 2 to 3 hours more work out of them than driving around in a car. So there's a lot of good things that are coming out of this virus that are bringing us to the new digital world. And people are not going to the digital world because they wanted to; they're going because they have to. So
right.
it's a necessity now that you learn it, versus, well, I don't really want to learn it. I'm not going to have to deal with it. It's like, okay, if
Hmm.
I don't do it, I can't do my job, and I won't
Right.
have a job. And when you look at the amount of people that have lost their jobs, then what kind of new jobs are we going to be able to create? And that's where I see ACC and all the other universities coming in hand is because what we're looking at is developing trisector relationships where we do
Mhm.
private industry, government, and education, and we do
Mm.
stackable certifications because everyone's going to have to continuously be educated, re-educated on the new technology.
Mhm. No, that's
The
fantastic, Sam.
technology gap used to be 20 years, and then it went to 10, and it went to 5. Right now, the technology generation gap is 45 days.
What?
45 days. Every
45
45 days,
days?
right?
Wow.
And so that's why you see the the, the bigger corporations are going to have the hardest time making this transition through this era that
Mhm.
because one of their weaknesses that they have right now is siloed management from top down, employees that don't want to evolve, and old technology that they can't afford to get rid of. So this is an opportune time for entrepreneurs that are more agile to be able to come in and create new ideas that are based on the new markets that are opening up now that are nothing but opportunity. And as I said earlier, out of Confucius say, out of chaos comes nothing but opportunity. And we're probably at the most opportune time in our economy since I've been here to see change come out and change that'll be more sustainable and based on a quality of life instead of a quantity of life. What good is a Ferrari or Maserati or Rolls Royce doing you now when you don't have anywhere to go with it? So,
Right. Yeah. All these
so
great gas prices, and you're like, but for what?
right. And so what we're looking at right now is the aggregate efficiency of raw materials. And what you're going to see the whole industry based on is okay, with China, India, and Africa starting to consume the way we do in the US, and we consume 80% of everything made in the world. So what happens
Mm,
with the raw materials, and that's what you're going to run into. That's why you're going to see
interesting.
the circular economy and sustainability come into play. Is because
Okay.
right now we're only functioning at the high with Japan at 20% aggregate efficiency of usage of raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
So and the Germany's at 14.5%, and the US is at 14%. So we've got
Mm-hmm.
over 20% of raw materials that we're not utilizing to their full advantage. So what we're looking at from the fashion industry now is how do we get more cycles out of a product? So we're looking at
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of 3 lifespans of a fashion with 3 different people within that
Wow.
lifespan. So
That's
that's
so
something.
interesting. So let me repeat something just so, I want to make sure everyone heard what you said. You're coming through clearly, but the aggregate efficiency of the usage of raw materials.
Correct.
And so that is basically saying that it's about how we are using what we have available to create a product, or can you help us understand that a little bit more?
It's the raw materials that we have available to create products with, and
Okay.
whether it be cotton, whether it be polymers, or right now one of the biggest issues that we had during the mass production is a non-woven filtering system that was utilized in all of the mass. They ran
Mhm.
out of that product. You couldn't find it anywhere in the world.
That's right. You are absolutely right. I know that we were trying to advise on alternate filtration methods and working with MIT material scientists. And you're right. We were not able to find that non-woven material that's
And
effective.
I wish you'd have contacted me because we developed a non-woven over at North Carolina State that was
Oh yeah, yes, yes. We were
so
talking with the professor there.
yeah we
But no, but we should definitely talk about that.
and I'm a mentor on the for the IPC, and what we're doing right now is we're setting up standards. And anytime there's an issue, we create a group to, of, of of the top universities and the top people from the FDA, from the Department of Commerce, Department of Energy, and we sit down and we figure out how to solve problems quickly as a collaboration. And that's what it's
Mhm.
going to take for all of us going forward to be able to change things to where we can adjust quickly to the shortages and the shortfalls that we have in an economy that's really not set up for this digital change that we're going through at such a fast pace. We didn't
Mhm.
expect this to come about. We didn't expect this digital change to come about until 2028. And with this virus, it's created it now. So
Right.
what you're seeing now with the jobs that people are losing, that was going to happen anyway. That was
Mhm.
coming. That's why they were talking about universal salaries and all the things that they were talking about, because this
Mm.
digital transformation is a displacement. And what we have to do now with ACC and all the other universities is we've got to give people that have degrees, stackable certifications to bring them up to standards with the new technologies that they're going to have to learn to function with and utilize in their new roles.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sam. I think that that's really such an opportunity with the community college, being in that workforce development space. Stackable certifications is something I've heard from the provost to the VP of instruction, the president, talking about that, powerful intersection of helping people continually, add to their skills so that they're employable. But I actually want to spend a little time talking about kind of these various trisector opportunities though, because I think we've talked about trisector before. We've talked about it in terms of fashion and some of these advanced manufacturing or technology spaces, and then medicine. We've talked about it in terms of like these private partnerships, education and technology. But I think that you've really kind of leaned into some really exciting developments. And I know I won't ask you for details because I know that those are, some pretty intense opportunities. But can you just talk about the future of trisector in general?
Let me
Um,
give
you
you,
know,
let me give you one example of trisector. Right now,
okay.
we've got a project that's about to be approved, hopefully be approved by the FDA. It's in test, I mean, in the final phases of approval. But there was
Hmm.
three different universities that worked on helping us to develop this project.
Mm,
Texas A&M, um, University of North Texas, and
hmm.
North Carolina State. We all worked in combined combination to help develop this product. And it's a
Hmm.
nanotop technology product that we're incorporating into fashion.
Wow,
So basically, our focus right now is nanobiotech products developing for quality of life in
that's
fashion.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
So those.
fantastic.
So when I say trisector, you're looking at government, private industry, and education working
Hmm.
together. And one of the things that I know you know that I'm excited about is the incubator that we have at McCallum.
Hmm.
I would love to see that incubator expanded to all schools within the Austin Independent School District and the surrounding areas. Because right
Hmm.
now, if we don't start helping these students to develop the knowledge and the skill sets to be able to move into this new fashion industry, we're not going to have the people available that we need to be able to create what we need going forward in this new industry. So we have to start right now with the high schools and even the middle schools developing this all the way through.
Absolutely. So you're saying like if we don't invest in our future, if we're not getting students even at an early age thinking about working this way, we're really um not taking the most of this moment, to
And we're not giving the
bring
kids
ourselves forward. And the
we're not
kids
giving
need it.
the kids just to give you an idea, we had over 200 kids participating in the fashion incubator at ACC. I mean at McCallum. And
Hmm.
the great thing that I was excited about this year is not only was it the fashion incubator, but it was the art department. They came in and worked together with the fashion department, and the digital media department came in and worked with the fashion department. So we saw the steam going into work within just a high school level. And when you see the production, you actually were one of the judges, and I appreciate that you did that for us.
I really enjoyed that. They're fantastic students, incredible work.
But what you see in that collaboration of the different industry is the silos being broken down, and these kids are learning at an early age how to do the collaboration that they need to be able to move into this new digital world.
It's so perfect. They need that, and I think that, for those who are used to working primarily in competition, competition is not a bad word. Competition helps things move along as well, but collaboration is really where people are now leveraging, a lot of that hard work that they've created. But without the collaborations, you're right. We're really dead in the water, and we've got to be able to integrate those silos to be able to leverage each other's resources to move forward.
The only time competition is a problem is when there's not opportunity. And right now, we're at the largest period of opportunity that this country has seen in a very long time. And
Hmm.
the the people that can adopt the fastest to this new digital world will be the ones that prosper. As I told you, what we're looking at just in the IoT industry right now, which is the Internet of Things, is what it's called.
Hmm.
And it's about connectivity. What we're doing is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and everything, and we're doing everything. We're utilizing fibers for medicine, where we can actually introduce medicine into your bodies through the fibers. And we
Wow.
actually have products right now that are on the market that where any over-the-counter drug plus CBD oils we can induce
Hmm.
into your body through our fibers.
Wow.
So those are some of the bio nanotech things that we're working with now, and that's where
Hmm.
the fashion industry too is more bio nanotech, and then
Wow.
also sustainability by getting a longer lifespan out of every product that we produce.
It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. And I feel like our bandwidth to accept and embrace and develop into the space, I feel like, again, because of this pandemic and because of the needs that have come about, people have been much more willing to embrace and accept the opportunity of developing into these spaces. Before, I think there's a bit of resistance to kind of the adoption of some of these high-end technologies in fashion, but now, as you were saying before, this is really becoming a necessity.
And one of the things that we've really looked at, and I can predict that hemp will be the fiber that saves this country.
Mm,
So many things going on this computer. I
no
apologize.
worries, not a problem. So
Hemp
but you said hemp.
hemp. Right now, the biggest changes that we're seeing in our industry will come from hemp. Hemp will grow 3 times harvest on 1 acre of land that cotton does, and,
Wow.
and it only uses 1/4 of the water that cotton does. And cotton accounts for 30% of the pesticides that we use in the U.S. And hemp has no need for pesticides because it it's pest resistant. It doesn't have
Wow.
that. And
That has incredible opportunity.
there's new technologies out there that we are utilizing, and some of the patents that have come on with hemp, we can actually make hemp as silky smooth as silk now. That's how
Wow.
some of the processing that we're doing. So those are
Well, that's exciting.
so
That's
we're
very
looking at
exciting.
as hemp as being the base fabric for development of most industries here, because not only from hemp do you get fiber for fashion, but you get also bioplastics, you get graphene, you get
Wow.
biofuels,
Hmm.
okay, and hemp concrete. So this product will
Wow.
become the most sustainable product that we have in our country going forward.
Wow, that has so many opportunities. I wish I had more time to talk to you about just this part. I feel like this happens every time I talk to you, Sam. There's so many incredible things that you're working on. So much of your background pulling from technology and government and fashion and business and tech. I mean, all of those things coming together. It's always an exciting conversation about all the new things that are coming down the pike. So thank you so much for your time today. It
We're
was a
fast today.
pleasure to have you. I know it went really fast. We're done. This is the
Okay.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you, Nina. And we all have to work in collaboration to take advantage of this opportunity that's in front of us right now. And it's just a matter of
Absolutely.
people wanting to collaborate and understanding that we're not working for a quantity of life for everybody, quality of life.
Absolutely. Yeah, quality over quantity. I think it's a beautiful place to end. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. My
Thank
name
you.
is Nina Means. I'm the director for Austin Community College Fashion Incubator. And definitely want to encourage you guys to live with quality over quantity as we're kind of going into this new phase, this new era of life. But again, Sam, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Sam Alexander from Concept to Consumption. Feel free to join us on YouTube Live. If you subscribe here to us today, you'll get all of our notifications of when we go live for Monday Coffee Talk, for Wednesday Workshop Wednesdays, and then Fridays we'll be back here with ACCFI Presents. We've got some really great industry vets that we talk to regularly who really know this business and are able to see, kind of, years into the future about where we're all going. So definitely come back and join us. I think you'll really enjoy the conversations we've got teed up for you here. If you want to join our listserv, we are fashion.incubator at austincc.edu, and you can follow us on all of our social media handles at ACC Fashion Incubator. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and we are all done for today. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.